Hello, 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 hello. And welcome to QI, the show that puts a song in your heart, a tune on your lips and a hum in your pyjamas. Joining me for tonight's special music edition are Sean Locke, Mark Gatiss, Linda Smith and Alan David. So, let's tune up, ladies and gentlemen, please. See how you're sounding. Sean goes. Mark goes. Linda goes. And Alan goes. Well done. Very good. Excellent. First question this evening is, what kind of music do snakes like the best? What do they find most charming? Mark.
Kraftwerk. Really vicious German electro-pop. Imagine those fakirs playing it...
Those what, excuse me?
Fakirs.
Oh, yes, right, fair enough. You're quite right, they are, all of them. Thank you. Thank you, sound department.
When you say they like it, it's not like they like it, they go out, they buy it, they put posters up on inside their baskets, they... No, right, I see. When you say like it...
Yeah, Kraftwerk.
Just a second. Good heavens. It works. Oh. The hood right back, ready to pounce.
That was like X-rated ain't half hot, Mum, that.
It was rather. Well, no, the oddity is actually that snakes don't respond to the music at all. It's simply the sight of it.
They just like the sight of it.
Yeah, because if you do it without playing music...
They don't respond to music.
You're right. You're quite right.
So you could be doing that on anything?
Yeah, or just making no noise at all, and it would still sway backwards and forwards and
don't have
mesmerised.
Ears.
You're sort of right. Until recently, that was exactly what was thought, because they don't appear to have it. But in fact, when you go inside, they've now discovered they do have otic nerves and a whole system which responds electrically to sound.
Is that snake alive, or is it a model one?
I think it's actually a dinner. It's a snake in a basket.
I think it's just come back from holiday in Spain and bought one of those donkeys, those straw donkeys. Yeah.
When I was a kid, there was a rattlesnake on TV every week.
Really?
Every week, in something, there was always a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
And nowadays, there's never a rattlesnake on TV. It was like a big thing in the 70s.
Well, you didn't even see one, you just heard one.
You just heard one. It was the most terrifying noise of my childhood, and I grew up in Loughton.
Yeah.
Good. Well, there you are. That's the point, isn't it? Snakes and hearing. Now, on to a nursery rhyme. The nursery rhyme says, hey, diddle, diddle, the cat and the fiddle. But what have cats got to do with violins?
Cat gut.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear. No.
Not that, then.
Not that. No. In fact, his cat has never got into the making of violins. It was a myth that was put about by the string makers. It was considered very unlucky to kill a cat in medieval times. They made it out of sheep gut, and the people of...
Sheep really get it all.
Don't they,
They've got low self-esteem, I think.
They allow themselves to be bullied.
They do allow themselves to be...
In Australia, they discovered that sheep possess morphic knowledge. They found that sheep managed to get across the cattle grids by lying on their backs, holding their legs up and rolling across them. Because they were like a little furry ball. And sheep were doing it almost at the same time on a completely, thousands of miles away, the other side of Australia.
But well, that's it. People don't know. That's why it's called morphic resonance or morphic knowledge. It started with tits. Blue tits seemed to discover in different parts of Britain to peck open the silver top of a milk bottle within a week of each other in Scotland and in England without any tit having done it before. And they were too far away from each other to have communicated. And this theory arose of what's called, as Sean said, morphic resonance.
Cats and violins.
Oh, cats and violins, yeah.
Yes.
The people who had the monopoly, as it were, put it about that was made of catgut, because knowing that their rivals would never dare kill cats, and they wanted to kind of keep it secret. It was the same families have run violin string making for over 600 years. But now, of course, there's nylon and steel added, though people still say the old sheep gut is still the best.
I thought it was to do with the cat's penis.
Did you?
Isn't it a strange shape, like the shape of a violin, or something like that? Is it a really strange shape?
Yep.
It's the shape...
What would be the shape of a female's orifice in order
a violin case.
to receive a violin case?
Isn't it? Haven't they got a really strange shape? But that's why they scream so... You know, they screech so loudly when they're...
Cats' penises are barbed and have a bone in them, so yes, they are an unusual shape, unless...
Yeah, they got a bone, that was it.
Yeah.
Cats can
Badgers
choke
do.
on small bones.
So you wouldn't want to fiddle with them, and that's the connection with the violin.
I'll be-
There we are. Good.
Nice.
There we are. Stop and say. Yeah. Now, we're still musical, as we hope to be all evening. Now, what kind of music do spiders like?
Well, I reckon...
Yeah, go on.
They got 8 legs. They'd appreciate a one-man band. You know, like chicka chicka ching chung chung. No, they'd kind of appreciate that all-round entertainer.
Etc.
Kylie Minogue,
What is that?
spinning around.
Oh, spinning around, very good. You could have said Andrew Lloyd Webber, I suppose.
Actually, on a similar note, might it be Cliff Richards?
What is
Because
it?
isn't his real
Richards?
name Cliff Richard, rather? I beg your
Is-
pardon. Webb.
It's his
Oh,
real name's
yeah.
Webb. It's all
Marty
very good.
Webb.
Marty Webb. It's all just, isn't it?
But I don't
beginning
think
to-
spiders are that into puns. I think they like flies, stuff like that. Jeez. I'll tell you an interesting fact about spiders. The huntsman spider, which, well, one a little fact everyone knows, doesn't actually build a web, is the only spider with lungs.
Oh, I like that.
So you can get it a birthday cake with a candle on.
Yeah.
What a sweet thing to think of. What a nice way of thinking. What do spiders do to flies?
They wrap them up in web, like in Lord of the Rings,
Yeah, and...
Silk.
and then take them off, wait till they've toughened up a bit, and then they eat them.
Well, that's the other thing, is they don't eat them, they drink them.
They drink them. and
Because they squirt them
dissolve
with acid that dissolves them into a sort of...
Flies, when they
liquid.
land on
Yeah,
your
it's kind of
food,
soup.
they immediately vomit on it. And then they tread about on it like that, get it all mushy, and then they digest that.
That's quite rude, isn't it?
It is. And they listen with their feet. Their 8
And
feet.
here you coming.
And they have a
listen with
penis
their
on their head.
Oh, yeah.
That's on the end of a little feeler. That's where their mating organ is, the males.
They're just a mess, aren't
Exactly. They're all dickheads. They have 8 eyes as well, most of them.
Spiders have 8 eyes and 8 legs.
Yes, yeah. Well, the answer to this question is it does seem to be classical music because they did an experiment and they found that in
Who are
the
they?
University...
Who are they?
University of Ohio, in this instance, is they, or are they?
The University
subjected-
of all else better to do.
Ah, well, no.
Formerly the Polytechnic of all else.
No, domestic spiders were subjected to Bach, techno, which I believe is some kind of modern music, and rap. For techno and rap, they built their webs as far away from the speakers as possible, and for classical music, close to them. Someone very close to me told me about a music called Tesco. Do you know about that?
No.
It's a blend of disco and techno. It's sweet. That is Tesco. And they have Tesco evenings in certain nightclubs.
Really?
That's a type of modern young person's dance music, like two-step
Imagine
UK
these-
garage, for example, which is my particular favourite.
These would be nightclubs right on the edge of town. Drive through, plenty of parking.
Another bizarre experiment on spiders, and this I think will fascinate you, was conducted by NASA. Really extraordinary experiment in 1995 to see how spiders reacted to drugs. So behind you are some of the results. We have 2 webs, one produced on LSD and one produced on caffeine. You have to match the drug to the web.
I bet the worst one is caffeine, on the right there.
That's what you reckon? Yeah?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
other one looks like a bullet through glass on Callan.
You're absolutely
opening time.
right. The extraordinary thing, and nobody understands why, is that when they give them LSD, they make even more geometrically perfect webs than they do in nature. It's absolutely perfect.
Do they see spiders everywhere?
Well, they see humans probably, don't they? Oh, it was a bad trip. I saw humans floating in front of my eyes. Oh, Lord. And that jangled mess on the right is caffeine, the world's most popular drug. 80% of all human beings take caffeine at least once a day.
There's an exhibition at the British Museum at the moment, and it's about healthy living or life and things we do to ourselves. And there's an exhibit with 14,000 pills in it, all sewn into a big mesh, to represent the pills that an average first world person takes in their life.
That would last my nan about a week.
Not content with that, we kind of push our gear on spiders for some extraordinary reason.
Yeah, you try it now.
Yeah.
We don't want coffee. Try it, have it. We want to see what you do. We want to see what you do. Oh, yeah, look, you're weird. Thanks.
You
There'd be
know,
a lot of loud laughing flies if they saw that. Oh, it just flies straight through it, it's great. But we have another one for you, and you have to guess the drug. Let's have a look at this next one. There we are. What would that be as a result of?
Lager.
Any other thoughts?
Marijuana
Marijuana is the right answer. Mary Jane, or cannabis, or whatever they'd like to call it.
Because they couldn't be asked to finish it.
Exactly. Good. Now, listen to this piece of music by the Mamas and the Papas.
Monday, Monday, so good to me. Monday morning.
Lovely. That, as I say, is the sound of Monday, Monday by the Mamas and the Papas. But what colour would you say Monday is? Yes.
Blue.
Blue. Because of what? Because
Just makes me think of blue.
No, well, that's right. Most people, if they think of days of the week, assign a colour to them, not assign one.
Wednesday is kind of green, Thursday is brown, Friday is black.
I see. Friday's dark blue to me, and Thursday's sort of orange, reddy. deep
Tuesday
red.
is maybe yellow.
Yellow. I have yellow.
Saturday's red.
Yeah.
Sunday's sort of bluey,
Yes.
purple.
Monday's white to me for some reason. But there you are.
Have you done a spider experiment in NASA, you two?
Do you not have any sense of colour when you think
No,
of
I would say
or months?
Monday, I think of a period of time which has to be endured until Tuesday comes along.
Yes. Don't
February
expect
is
the poet
yellow.
laureateship to be handed to you on a cake. It's a little bit literal.
If Monday makes you think of blue, does blue make you think of Monday?
Makes me think of mould.
Yeah. And it's not thought either. I mean, that's to say, it's not thought in the sense of rational analysis. It's as if you see the colour in your head. Well, we'll move on to this because I'll play you a chord of music, like so. Which some of you with perfect pitch might know as D major. D, F sharp, A.
Lime green
Triad.
I had there.
You had lime green? Anybody else have a colour?
No.
No?
No.
Tell you what I heard. I heard a sound.
I was just thinking...
Yes, I know.
Frankly,
We do. Most people
anyone
do.
hear a sound? Anyone? Or just me? Please, go on, come again.
I just thought of also a sound man going, yes.
It's true, because you really did it well. Let's try him again. He's good, isn't he?
He's just going,
He's very good at that. He's very good. Round of applause.
if I do it, will he do it for me?
Go on, see. Yes, with one finger as well.
I wonder if it did for
Move
me.
up the scale, move up the scale.
Hey. No, the fact is there is this condition known as synesthesia, which is quite common, in which people genuinely see a colour when they hear sounds. Rimsky-Korsakov, for example, saw that D major chord, boing, oh, boing. So there's Rimsky-Korsakov. He saw it as a glorious sunny yellow. Liszt would say to orchestras and completely baffle them, no, please, gentlemen, bluer. Julian Asher, who's a neuroscientist who also has synesthesia, he tried to explain it because he had it as a child, and he used to get taken to concerts by his parents, and he always used to assume that the lights went down before the concert so that you could see the colours better as they came off the orchestra. He just always assumed that, because he assumed, as you would, that everybody had the same experience, that when they heard music, they saw colours right in front of them, for real. And Rimsky-Korsakov wrote down what he said. So we're going up from F, we have E major, and that, for him, was bright blue. And F major
Red.
was bright green for him. But this, interesting, E flat major.
Magnolia.
Miserable grey for him. Well, isn't that interesting? Because it's very, very common indeed, E flat major for singers. It's their most common chord.
It's quite odd, that photograph, because it's not like he's posed for it. It's not full on. It's like he's coming out of somewhere and someone's taken a sort of Victorian paparazzi snap of him.
It's probably CT camera, wasn't it? Victorian CT camera, which is a bloke in a big one.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Wait a minute.
Now, in 1988, ladies and gentlemen, in 1988, Warner Communications, as then was, paid John F. Zengstack $28 million for the rights to a single song. I just want to know what it was. 1988. Yes, Linda Smith.
A bit pricey.
It was. They reckon they'll do very well out of it.
National anthem.
It was not the national anthem, it was not copyright, yes.
Was it the theme to Button Moon?
Lovely idea. It wasn't that.
Okie dokie.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Mark Gatiss. It was indeed Happy Birthday to You,
Aye.
which was composed in 1924 by a couple of old biddies.
$28 million.
$28 million. They make about $2 million a year out of it.
What did the people sing in 1923, for goodness sake? They brought the cake out, everyone just stood about in a slightly awkward silence.
Which is infinitely preferable than having that bloody song sung at you.
You're older, you're older, you're older.
Yeah, it was written by these two old things, and Irving Berlin included it with the words Happy Birthday to You, which they didn't write. Nobody knows who did write those. He included it in a 1933 musical, so they sued and won and retained the copyright. And in theory, if you sing it in a restaurant, you owe Warner Brothers money because it's counted as a public place.
You'd have to be very honest to phone them up and go, it's a birthday last night. How much do I owe you? And I hummed a few bars and let it be as well.
Happy Birthday was the first song to be sung in outer space from the Apollo 9 crew. Do you know what the original song was written as, what the lyrics were? They weren't Happy Birthday to You, as I said.
It was a Death Row song.
You
won't be alive tomorrow.
Yeah. No.
Don't bother making your bed.
No.
Really, really good idea for Ainsley Harriott would be Ainsley's Death Row Dinners.
What's the odds?
Because it's so jolly.
No, originally it was written as a teacher's song to sing to their class, Good Morning to All, it was called. Then it became Good Morning to You, and then Happy Birthday to You. That's its history. Anyway, what was the most disastrous composition of the man who gave the world the Wombling song, Remember You're a Womble, Wombling Free, Wombling in the Rain,
Mike
and
Batt.
Non-Stop Wombling Summer Party, whose name, as you rightly say, is Mike Batt. Yes.
All of them.
Yes. But one of them was particularly and rather amazingly disastrous. Not one of those I've mentioned, yeah.
Was it the Wombling party?
It was actually a financial disaster.
Free
I know.
Hindley.
Oh, hang on, Mark. Free Myra Hindley.
Didn't take off.
Jerry
Sorry, that
Dammers on
passed
the
by.
whiteboard.
Free Myra Hindley.
Whoa, no, he didn't go that far. No, it was on an album. He had a track which lasted a minute, and it was complete silence. It was called A Minute Silence, and he was sued by... Who would sue him?
Cage.
John Cage.
John
John
Cage.
Cage, exactly. Author of 4 minutes 33 seconds,
Yeah.
the famous 1952 composition of Complete Silence.
What a load of rubbish.
But there are two reasons why we shouldn't feel sorry for Mike Batt. One is he actually put 1 minute silence, Batt, oblique stroke, Cage. So, And the second reason is he wrote the campaign song for William Hague's 97 campaign. So whatever shit he's flung at him.
I happened once, I heard one of the best ever links done on radio. It was done by Dale Winton on his Radio 2 show. And he played Watership, Bright Eyes, which Mike Batt wrote. You know, Bright
Yes,
Eyes,
indeed.
burning light. And he got to the end of
Garfunkel's
it.
hit.
He got to the end of it and he goes, listen to that. He said, a song about a rabbit ridden by a bat. And I thought that's classic,
Dale,
yeah.
well, he is the governor.
Yeah.
He's
I saw the Wombles. They were
Yep,
actually
live.
men dressed as Wombles, so they were enormous. It was one of the most frightening things my entire childhood.
Freak you out.
They towered over children who'd come to see little cute Wombles who gathered litter and lived in a burrow. Loomed over them.
Was it Christmas? Because all the dwarves are booked up around that time.
Two actor friends of mine were in this, like a pantomime version of The Wind in the Willows.
Yeah.
And one was the Badger and one was Toad. And they didn't really get on. They were getting on quite badly. So obviously there's quite a long section of the show where Badger is nagging Toad, you know, to change his ways. And one day, my friend who was the Toad just got really, really drunk and he turned up for the afternoon show and Badger started telling him off and saying, you've got to mend your ways. And he just said, you off, you stripy bastard. These little kids.
Are there children still in therapy? Anyway, here's an interesting question as well. What was unique about Good Friday 1930 that urgently required 10 minutes of light piano music?
Did Jesus come back, change his mind, and they had to fill in?
No, it
Well, he
was a
was
news
drunk.
programme,
He was
but
drunk.
instead of news, they played 10 minutes light music. Why would that be?
Because something had happened.
Quite the opposite.
Something, nothing had happened.
Nothing had happened.
And no news
An
today.
announcer came and said, ladies and gentlemen, there's no news tonight, so here is some music. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah.
There was no news.
Nothing.
Well, in fact, we've tried to
Anywhere in
check
the
what did
empire.
happen, and aside from football matches, in India there was the start of what was called the Chittagong Rebellion, but which 700 youths attacked the telegraph office and disconnected all communications in the city of Chittagong. But that didn't happen until 10 o'clock, which was too late for the news in London. So there was no news, it seems.
They probably didn't have traffic reports.
They wouldn't have had traffic.
And here we go live to the camera at Hanger Lane.
Yeah.
And there's a bloke on a bike.
Knocks, I wouldn't give you much chance of getting home before 6 o'clock, and that's a fact.
Right. You better call up your maid and butler and tell them to put something in the oven. Yep.
But that's it. I mean, local papers have to deal with no news every week. They still write the paper every week. My favourite ever, when I used to live in Sheffield, the Sheffield Star, was my favourite ever headline: Workshop man dies of natural causes.
Fantastic. Oh, that's bliss.
But what about the story of the giant microphones invading the BBC? He's terrified.
They were hushing that one up.
The incredible shrinking announcement.
Now, prepare to lose composure, because it's general ignorance, so fingers on buzzers. What is this?
Tap music.
Tap music.
Yeah.
Very close. I mean, it
Looks
is...
like taps, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. You only find it
Like the tap dancing.
by a weird accident, you're right. Inasmuch as it's a dance notation. It's known as the Benesch movement notation, which was invented in the 1950s by Mr. Benesch, who was an accountant and a very talented artist and musician, and his wife was a ballet dancer, and it shows the choreography of a particular dance. So can you work out what it is? It sort of represents...
Is that legs, then? I assume.
Oh, body's changing, yes.
The Okey Cokey.
It is the hokey cokey. Well done. And there are legs going in and out. Exactly. There was an American version of the dance was a man called Larry Laprise, and he died in 1996. What happened at his funeral?
Oh, they couldn't get him in the coffin.
Why's that?
They put the left leg in. And the trouble started.
Right, fair enough, exactly.
Mr. Fry, can I do my song? Mr. Fry.
Bring back variety, yeah? Now, next question. What was the first invention to break the sound barrier?
Mae West vibrator.
How fast is a bullet?
I need an answer, not a question.
More steam!
They got coal, they're shoveling it in.
Back to teacher 3. So, yeah.
She had a giant rubber band, 6'1", with 10 men twisted it round.
Dear me.
Cannonball, musket fire, catapults.
Whoa. Hello. No, not the cannonball.
They spelt it wrong, points to me.
Now they
You'd
haven't.
prefer 3 ends, would you?
There's 2 ends in cannon, isn't there?
3, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, 1 on the end, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
in the middle.
In the middle 2, yes, yeah.
Otherwise, it's a ball of religion.
Yes, we thought it might be... Yeah, exactly. We thought it was Bobby and Tommy, you know.
Hey!
Hey! You're looking at me! Looking at me! Stop looking!
Alice McGowan, watch out!
Hey! Anyway,
Not a cannonball, then.
no, not a cannonball. It's 7,000 years old. The earliest we found in China was invented. A very common thing in all cultures there. Harrison Ford uses it extensively.
Whip. Firework.
Not a firework. A whip is the right answer.
What?
A whip. The sound of the whip cracking is not leather hitting leather. It is a sonic boom, a mini sonic boom. Where it makes a loop, and as it tapers towards the end, it gets faster and faster, so it gets up to 724 miles per hour. And we only discovered this, as humans only discovered it, when we were able to use high-speed cameras to see it all slowed down and see that the leather wasn't hitting itself, and it wasn't a noise at all. It was actually
But, Professor, that's fantastic.
Isn't it? It's great news. Well, on the subject of sounds, when you listen to the waves in a seashell, what are you actually hearing? Yes.
9 times out of 10, Nora Jones.
Nora Jones.
What do you mean?
What is the sound you hear when you would do that?
Well, you're here in the sea.
Why would that be if you were in...
Well, you're right, you're on the beach, aren't you?
No, you've been actually in the Lazouche. You don't hear... Well, you still hear that same noise. Yeah.
I've never done it anywhere away from the seaside.
Ah, you must try to do it with a mug.
It's the pounding of your blood in your eardrums.
Oh, dear! No, not that neither. No.
Who's that girl, though, who's got the seashell in her ear?
Oh, she looks like she failed the Magnum advert. They said, no, lick it, you silly bitch.
They're awfully rude, aren't they? I know what you mean.
You just get a rushing sound like would that be?
It's
air in your
noise,
ear,
airflow
echoes.
resonating inside it. It works with a mug or a cup or something.
Of course, if you hold a shell suit to your ear, you can hear Romford.
There we are. Now, who wrote the tune for Alan's buzzer?
Prince Edward. Who's that? Oh, blimey, it's me.
Is that two of Anne Robinson's daughters?
You see now how they got the
it
idea
looks
for
to
the
me-
slinky, don't you?
I bet there's a clown somewhere panicking, going, Jesus Christ. It's about 5 minutes of showtime, he's going, oh.
Why is it not so springy now?
You're not eating so many cheesy Wotsits, are you?
There's also looking a bit ginger there, aren't
Yeah.
I?
You certainly are.
He looks like the new Anne Robinson. Have you seen her?
The new one. Oh, yes.
She's regenerated.
She has
into a beautiful new lady. It's extraordinary.
She looks like a Siamese cat walking into a storm.
What was the tune again? I've forgotten.
It was what we would call Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Didn't do that last time.
It's bet it's German.
Twinkle, twinkle.
5 years old. No, Mozart wrote an extraordinary series of variations on that tune at the age of 5. Very beautiful variations indeed.
Bloody Mozart. Special needs boy.
Now, let's get to the scores. And it's rather a dissonant quartet here. My goodness me. Well, look, we're going to have to do it in first to last. Our winner, very tunefully, is Linda with 2 massive and tuneful points. And Mark managed a perfectly respectful and harmonic -4. And Sean was not quite so on song with -8. And as usual, I'm sorry to say, Alan managed an absolutely astounding, caterwauling mess of a ruin of a sound, which was -13. Congratulations. Well, that's all from QI for this week. A big hand, please, for our singers, Sean, Mark, Linda and Alan. Let me leave you with his famous musical memento, the observation of the conductor, Sir Thomas Beecham, to a lady cellist. Madam, you have between your legs an instrument capable of giving pleasure to thousands, and all you can do is scratch it. Good night.